Good morning. Good morning. All right. First time looking at the charts. Let's get involved here. This caption reads trade for 1 minute a day, and that's what we plan on doing. We plan on getting a setup for 1 minute. We're at 7:30. Now, this is a little early. I'm not going to lie. I like putting in my trade at 8 o'clock, but let's just have an idea where we would do it. So put the timer on right now. What I'm doing is finding the pre-market low, pre-market high. This is pre-market low. This is pre-market high. What does this mean? We're in a range. The market is currently between those two, so we can go short or long on the market. Now I'm going to bring out our volume profile, and we're going to go from 6:30 to 7:30. We're going to look at the shapes of this. We see that we have point of control down here. The market is more likely to rebound down here, and we have a little bit of resistance up here. If I was going to put a trade anywhere at this moment, I would put it right here off this little shoulder right here. So why don't we do that? We're going to put our little contract in, limit sell 3. We'll probably put our stop like right above that, and then we'll maybe see a rotation. Also, we can go off this shoulder as well. We can trade 3 off this shoulder and trade it back up to point of control. So here we are. We're done. Normally, I would take these trades and walk away, but since we're live streaming this morning, I'm going to talk a little bit about some market dynamics. So, volume profile, again, just so everyone's aware, we're looking for steep, rounded shoulders. That is a bad drawing. Let me try that again. Rounded shoulders. There we go. We're not looking for C shapes. These kind of like gradually get longer. We want these fat, chunky shoulders. That's what we're looking for. Why? And I'm going to be why is because the chunky shoulders is a sudden change in volume at a specific area. This usually denotes a lot of aggressive or a big passive buyer that's stepping into the market. And then the market kind of trails off above that, continues on. So that's the basic. I'm going to unlink these charts. I don't know why they're linked here. Let us undo that link. Let's see now if this works. Oh, right. Well, I haven't done a link in a long time. Why these guys are still linked? I used to have them not linked, so I'm all confused. Doesn't matter. Point being is, I'm going to take this off for a little bit. We're going to have a look at some price action. That is so strange. Trying to find the link. Well, doesn't matter. We'll figure that out in a minute. Okay, so this is overall, if we're just looking at the 5 minute. First off, let's just have a little look at the daily. Let's look at a little bit bigger picture. All right, so we peeled off of our highs, and we are back in the top of this range. Notice there's a lot of big wicks in this range. Typically, this means that there is some kind of seller that's more of a passive seller that's putting a lot of pressure on this market. So it went up into that range before. We get to say liquidity got chewed up all the way to here. It's kind of tapping. It's tapping up above this liquidity. So someone is selling into this right now. Not a big deal, because it could, since we've already tapped into most of this liquidity, this is where it was initially, right here. We could probably honestly say it was about right here. A lot of this liquidity got eaten up. A lot of the sellers got eaten up over time. So over time, they continue to get eaten up, but they're not breaking above this range here. So we don't know. We could actually say that the range is like this as well so far. So we're not above it yet. The seller is selling aggressively into these guys. So that's our daily. 15-minute. Still fairly in an uptrend, right? This thing's just kind of going up. But notice we're starting to curl down a little bit. This would say to me short-term bearish, but overall still bullish. Where is my drawing tool? Takes me a moment to get up this morning. One thing about getting up a little later. All right, a little bit more of a curling over like that, right? I don't know if you guys see that. We kind of just curl just like that a little bit. So this doesn't mean that it's bearish all the time, but sometimes if we get a big up and then we're going to go more flat and then we shoot up again. That's typically pretty bullish. Kind of a curling would suggest to me that we need to kind of dip down a little bit and then it will catch buyers, which let's find where those buyers are. Those buyers are all over the place. My goodness. So yeah, these guys are aggressively buying. This looks kind of bearish to me right here. This looks like we could actually dip down and try and test new buyers. So if I had to guess a temporary short-term bounce, we have buyers here in this range. Buyers here, very easy to see. We have buyers here. Now, here's the thing. When you have multiple terms of overlap, we're overlapping like this. Typically, that's suggesting that this could all get ran through and checked. So we might actually have to come back down to 25,000 again, which that's kind of been our point of control. That's been the area where the market's been happy to trade. So if we were to look at the multiple days here, put out a volume profile, let's see what happens here. Let's see where that's at, right at 25,200. See that? So we're above that right now, but if we start to retrace, we could see it come all the way back down to 25,002 before making another leg up. So important to keep that in mind as well. Okay, there we go. We're going back to our 30-second here. Let's put back our volume profile. Now, I don't mind. We actually kind of just barely missed us down there a little bit. I don't necessarily like the risk to reward here. I would probably be risking, let's see here. That was our entry on the long side. Probably put my stop somewhere about right here. Oh, that's not terrible, 1.5. I thought it was going to be like 1.1 and under. Yeah, that's not terrible. All right, back to our 5-minute. Hope you guys are having a good day, man. And we have been chilling. Getting a little coffee in me. Let's get it moving here. So let's look at just price action over here. Kind of ripped above this area. We do have a new buyer right here. I need these charts unlinked. Let me figure out how to get these charts unlinked real fast. Hold on this for my phone. Okay. All right. Link. Where's the link here? Okay. It doesn't link with my indicators, but tickets, but it links with everything else. Well, okay. Well, in general, why don't we just do this? Go NQ over here, and that way we can see the market. Same market, just be with a bigger market. That'll fix that. Okay, same price action here. That'll fix that. So let's have some visualization of where buyers are in this market. So we do have a buyer right here, from here to here. We have buyers try and take it up again, here to here. So this is your pool of liquidity. This has been tested, so we know that buyers came down into this lot and they bought it back up. There's a passive buyer here. We do not have a new aggressive buyer above this area. So this is where your current buying liquidity is. Let's see where your selling liquidity is we have one seller here to here. This is a notice. We ran right up into that liquidity and then they sold off. We also have that kind of reinforced right here. Right there. Look at that. See, we're tapping into that liquidity. So here are your players on the market for today. Here's your buyers and here's your sellers. So we're just kind of in that range. Now, on a technical basis, we're still in this, or making a lower high, right? Here's one high. Here's another high, right? So this would suggest a lower high would suggest putting pressure on this low down here. So we might figure that we might come down maybe about the same degree, somewhere down here, somewhere in the 2671s, maybe even a little bit higher. But, and also if you're an ICT people, you'll see that we have a fair value gap right here, a small one, a nice one right here, as well as I think we have, I don't think we have any more upside. The one that got filled right here, but I'm not an ICT trader, but in general, these are just different ways of looking at the market. But yeah, so this is where our liquidity is. Okay. So with that being said, we're just chopping in that range and we're looking to profit just by buying a little outside that range and bringing it right back up into that range. If I had to have a bias, I would still probably be, and this is really tough to tell. I'm going to say short-term biased. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say short-term biased because we also have this seller right here. Kind of overlaps all of that. So this short up in the 867, that's not a bad short either. 867. Right there. So in general, let's keep an eye out. Short-term bearish. I'm talking a real short. I'm talking like just maybe 150 points. Still crazy me think that we move that much in some bars sometimes. All right, there we have it. So yeah, I think we're ready. So all of that analysis is done. Now we wait and we chill. Got another 20 minutes on the clock here. And yeah, let's see if we can get a fill here. Also important to note that our point of control just flipped. Was down here just a second ago, right? Now the volume's starting to get more aggressive up here, right? So also notice that this might not be a great short for me. Oh, we just missed that. Just missed that entry. Just missed the entry there. That would have been a close one. Notice we tapped into our pool of buying liquidity over here. Just missed the entry, and then we rode it right back up to point of control. Right idea. Just how far are we off here? We were pointing the quarter off there. So this second touch into this area, I'm not as excited about. I want the first touch. I don't want the second touch. The second touch can get a little bit scary, especially if we're starting to hook down. We could shove down really far. So I'm going to play a little bit more conservative. I wanted the first touch. It could still work. This was the area that I like. I like the shoulder right here. Whoa, check that out. Oh, must have got some news or something. I like that shoulder in this zone. That would have been our fill. Look at that. I wonder if we got some news. That looks like a news candle. Let's find out. for selling, I do like this area here. Not a bad area to sell. More longs. I don't really see another long area. Maybe this little corner right here. Go long. Yeah. The areas to go long. Well, almost hit that one. We were close. Very, very close. Played just right down here. Yeah, we're going to be patient. Wait for nice picks here. I'll refresh this. This could still work, by the way. This will continue to work until it gets cracked, but I just don't. After the first couple touches, 1, 2, I don't want to play for 3, 4, unless it's like a really range choppy day, and usually you don't know if you're in a super range choppy day until you're deep in it already. All right, so now we wait. Sipping a little coffee this morning. We're working on going full-time trading again. We have work a little later, so this is perfect if you have a work schedule, man. It's perfect. So we are excited. As far as price action goes, let me just take a quick look here. Yeah, we don't really, if we're to look at like trends here, we're really a wide range into trends. We keep breaking this upside trend, but not any follow through yet. I do think we're going to come back up and hit into this area of liquidity and then shove down. Notice we have clean green bars, but kind of messy red bars here. Kind of overlapped. Very, very tricky sideways market right now. I still think we're going shorter. I think we're going lower. But yeah, we got about another 15 minutes on the stream. I almost want to just hit this area again. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go in for just one. We're going to limit. Go kind of small here. Go kind of small. See if we can ride it back up to point of control again. And we'll put our stop very tight. Actually, we could probably 10 points, $40. Let's go for 2. Yeah, let's go for 2. Honestly, this is turning into a little bit of a ledge too right here. Go
Order
for 2.
filled.
Let's put our stop kind of tight off this corner here, $64, and then we'll take it back up to point of control. Third test, as you can see, is starting to show a little weakness here, right? But buyers are still here. So we're just going to try and play off these buyers. Let's see if it'll flush down. Looks like it is. That's why we sized down, right? $64 loss is extremely manageable. Extremely manageable. We're getting a little bit more for your risk reward, but this is why we sized down right here. I give that a touch more, just a touch more room. Just because of this little corner here, maybe to ride up a little bit more. All right, this is getting a little bit more aggressive on the 5-minute. I think we do probably come down here, but we're going to stay in until this trade is over with.
Order filled.
There we are. Okay, first stop of the day, not a big deal. We really managed that. $76, extremely manageable, but we don't want to take those all day. It was still a quality trade. Still a quality trade. I'd say it'd probably be like a B trade. Definitely not an A+ setup. Market's starting to look a little bit more aggressive on the 5-minute. Starting to shove into this buying liquidity, which means we could run this whole thing. And I don't think we're going to find buyers until the lows. We might, well, I was going to say we might jump in for a couple on the downside, but let's see here. See if we can get back up a little bit. Big wick there. Yeah, shorts look good. Might play a point of control bounce. That might be another area where we might play it a little bit. Yeah, I'd be interested in shorting. We just don't want to chase this at all. This looks pretty good though. Let's see if we can get very specific where we would short this. Possibly right here for a quick short. Let's be very quick, by the way, like a quick tap. So this is a bit of, I would normally take all these trades. So what time is it right now? 7:48. We're gonna see my final trades that I would take at 8 o'clock. And again, I'm trading just at 8 o'clock typically. This is more for theory and for you guys to see what possibilities we have with volume profile and price action. Yeah, we're steepening down. A little late to get in now. Would have liked to get in up here with this risk. Yeah. Even that corner's looking a little juicy. Buyer stepping in right here. Yeah, let's see if we get a little pump here. Let's see if we get a little tap here. And we do see a buyer stepping in right here. Notice the volume's climbing. The shoulder's getting a little steep here. We want to see this kind of a rounded shoulder on this bottom side, rounded shoulder. See that, then we can have confidence in these buyers. We did break this trend, but we haven't held. 5 seconds left before it holds. It looks like we're going to steepen. This could get very slippery. I'm assuming this next bar will come and retrace a touch and then come back down. So where is this at? Where's that put us at? Right up here. 810. I have a little bit of a finesse here. 813. Yeah, let's see there. So this buyer, or I shouldn't say this buyer, this area buying has been tapped. I think we're going to play the range here. Where is my range, by the way? Drawings go. Pre-market low. All right, if that's pre-market low, that's pre-market high. We are below pre-market low. We kind of only want to look short right now. This would be a very interesting candle, whatever this does here. It's going to really show us whether we're going to continue to the downside or not. Notice how we were bought up off that pre-market low here, where buyers started to step in a little bit. Right on this line here, this line is pre-market low. About 9 more minutes, and we are going to wrap up our final trades, and we're going to leave this market to fend for itself. We're going to leave our orders to fend for themselves. Volume isn't really picking up too much. We're about 3K. Previous bar was about 9K. So we're less than halfway on volume, but the time is now more than halfway of the bar. So this is saying that there's not a lot of follow through on the short side. Actually, we could probably now wanted a quick pop and run with all these buyers and sellers getting absorbed. This is going to have more conviction to the upside. I think point of control is where the market's going to head back up to. Yeah. I think we can come all the way back up to 842. There's that sweep. All right. Rotating back up a bit. I would be interested in getting some of this back up to point of control. The hard place would be to help find a stop. I want to be really picky with the entries here. Starting to see some sellers step in here. Oh, this is a tough one. Those sellers are stepping in pretty aggressive. That's not ideal. And they got a lot more aggressive than these buyers did. Yep. And they got a lot more aggressive than these buyers did. I play the shoulder a little bit. They're really tight move. Really tight rotation. Yep. Yep. This could be the third leg for that bar break here. This could get very aggressive to the downside. Like we said, we think this is very, well, I shouldn't say very, it looks very bearish though. And we could run this whole thing. I want to get involved here. I think we could flush this
Order filled.
Let's get in for maybe 2.
Order filled.
I'll put my stop right above these highs up here. And we'll ADC. DCA, I mean, not ADC. We're at the lows here. Not too big of a deal, even though this is a lower node. I don't see, well, we might have a couple tiny aggressive buyers stepping in there. But we'll play off this shoulder too. Our average should be somewhere in the center. Try and play a downwards continuation here. Maybe to the, I don't know. Find out. So let's see, our volume is at 5.6 last bar. We want to see at least 2.8 volume by 2 minutes and 30 seconds. As for where are we going to take our profit at, I'd say we're probably where these buyers are. Take the profit at this node down here. See if we can accelerate through these lows a little bit. Buyers are trying to step in a touch. Start to get a little flatter here. Buyers are getting a little bit more aggressive. Getting a little bit of ramping up here. Nothing too crazy. Want to see it rotate into these lows down here. There'll be a little bit of resistance on this curve right here at 65. A little bit of support, I mean. If we break into this pull, we'll come hopefully stretch all the way down to these lows. Where's that line put us at? Right there. Yeah, let's see. So all this liquidity has been chewed up. We're now sitting here with liquidity so far. And it looks like they're probably going to be concentrated on this lower half down here. Also, we got about 2 minutes until our stream ends. There we go. There we go. Just missed that. We're going to take that off because of that big stretch and then wake up. I'm not interested. So there we have it. We got a one winner, one loser on the morning. Probably didn't need to take that first loser. We talked about the second test. I don't like third tests. As far as sells go, this is an area of interest. I like this area right here. And also when we start to stretch below the point of control, I like to sell the point of control. So if it comes back up, I like to sell it because usually we get a nice bounce to the bottom. Volumes increase now. We have a 3-bar into increase. This could actually extend. Let me see the bars range here. What do we have? 44 points. Let's see if this is the biggest bar of the day. It is the biggest bar. Well, actually, let's see what this red bar is here. Can't see. 67 points. Is that our first bar? That is our first. Okay, 67 points is our first bar of the day. That's the biggest bar of the day. And we are contending with that size here. 23, 22, 21. All right, let's put in another order right here. Would put us at 773. Seconds left. 4, 3, 2. This is looking good to the downside here. Might get a temporary bounce from this. Right in that area where we thought we would find some buyers, but I do think this is going much lower. So let's just take a little stab here. I don't want to go too much. Let's go in for one.
Order filled.
I think we are going to get a bigger move to the downside, bigger rotation down. 644. 644. 450, 425. All right, that's fine. That's fine right there. All right, so all these are still valid. Our stop would be somewhere. Let me see here. 09. Oh, our stop would be up here. 33. Okay. Here's that trade. We are going to sell some down here. It pops up a little bit. Take the center. Very tricky. So we're looking for that rotation off of this. So these buyers are pretty much all gone. This buyer's gone. This guy's probably hanging on. Could still wake up. Take a short position here. Here's our stop. Here's our take profit, 1 to 1. We're already deep in it. It's happening fairly fast. It's 8 o'clock right now. That new hour shifted. Let's see if we can get that 100 points from here. So, sorry, is it 100 points? It is 100 points, roughly 100 points. Yeah, 92 points. All right, we'll see if we get that continuation all the way, and that'll wrap it up. So I'm signing off. I'm going to close my computer. I'm not looking again. I will probably eliminate some of these orders, though. I think we're going to play conservatively. I don't want this one. I don't mind that one. I don't mind. Keep this one in as well. Okay. So, see how this runs for us. Might be a little bit too much risk on this. So let's play that morning control bounce until then. All right, 8:02. We're overtime. Hope you guys have a good day, and we'll be seeing you tomorrow at 7:30.